Smoke lingers after fire.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout YouTube channel. In today's video, I have a big surprise. The seat has arrived from Cheeky Seats. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what a lot of you have been waiting for. This is going to help us move up in the content big time. I really speed this whole build up. So I'm going to show you the seat because it came out amazing. So I don't know if you remember, but I had that seat pan before. It was just a little piece of black. If you go back a couple of videos, it's like just some black fake leather on a hard pan. Now I have some padding. It's not a lot, but I tried to keep it as tight and sleek as possible. Susie did the Alcantara suede double stitching with the same color gray as the Nardo on the bike. I drew a picture of kind of how I wanted the seat to go. Have this run off to the nose. Did that exactly. Then did another line of piping running along. So it really just fits the bike perfect. They ran the seams underneath, and what this has allowed me to do is to not give as much seam on the top there and keep it as flush as it can be. I went ahead and bolted this bracket up. So now with having that, I can now go and see with this manifold where the carb position is going to be. If I'm going to use this all-in-one clocking flange that I have from TRS that I've already painted. If I'm going to use the shorter angled clocking flange that comes with the fatty mount from TRS. And then also we have a new clocking flange. Let me get in there. And it goes on the head like so. It's probably about 10, maybe 10 millimeters. Bolts in right here, and then it has all these other 4 holes on each side, which allows you to reposition and clock the clocking flange and the manifold, so I could turn it. With having that, I should be allowed to turn the carb to the side one way or the other, and then potentially run a filter. If I cannot run a filter, then I will just have to run a short velocity stack, which we have at the shop, and it has a little screen mesh over the front of it. So I'm going to get started on this, put it in the time lapse, and just go through some whatever trial and error I'm going to have. Okay, so if you've been following this build, you might notice something's different with the back seat. It is no longer have that little arch bar that went across. I just chopped that off. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera. I chopped it off. I drilled 2 holes in it. So now the seat bolt holes go down, and it sits so much more flush to the frame. Definitely like it a lot better. If you see the tape, it's because I don't want to scratch anything. Something big, little pointer you can do is once you get your stuff back from powder or paint, if you do want to save it and not worry about messing it up, I would recommend the areas that you're working in, you tape it off. So I don't know if the camera will show you, but there it is with the seat on it with the back bar on. You can see the little loop it had. It definitely raised the back seat up, and it just seemed way too high up for such a low sleek build that I'm doing. So I decided to get rid of that, chop it off, drill some holes. Now because of that, this is now all bare metal again, so I am not going to paint that. I'm actually going to powder that, and it should disappear good with the black of the seat. The front, I did nothing different. I just actually, there's an adjustment right here that you can push the seat front or back. I pushed it back so it sits further back, allowing me to have more room for the pegs down below here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to powder this bracket. I'm going to powder this one because this is just whatever comes with the seat, and it's really crappy powder or whatever it is. Unfortunately, I will not be using this even though I bought it and I already painted it. So this all-in-one clocking flange will not be able to use. I was hoping I would, but is too tall now for the seat that I'm running. And I'll bring you around the other side and show you what I had to do. On a side note, I will have to cut these plastics. With the new all-in-one clocking flange, you don't have to cut the plastics. It just drops right in, but because of the setup I'm using, I'll have to put this down and then trim for the clocking flange I did use. So the plastic off, you can see I used that little 10mm riser that we can reposition the angled clocking flange. On top of that, I have the angled clocking flange, and in the time lapse I was checking all different positions in different ways. The best setup I came up with was over here. So I have room all right here. As you can see, I'm not hitting this bar. I have this, so it's perfect for that little mesh velocity stack that we have at the shop. I will run that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this cup down probably just a 1/16 or so, and then the throttle cable, focus on it right there, I'm going to trim this down very carefully without cutting the cable a short distance as well, so that this cable sits a little bit tighter down in there and I have no issue at all underneath the seat. Right now with it there, it barely rubs the seat, and I'm just trying to clear that. So it's not something I advise to do without, you know, risking potentially hurting it. But I will be trimming that down and then trimming down the other part of the cable. But as you can see there, I now have clearance. When I tried running the carb the other way to get the filter to come through here, the float bowl was hitting the stretch bar, and if I brought it up any bit more, you can see the clearance I had right here. So this is the part of the issues that you run into when you're doing like a custom setup that's not off the shelf. You have fitment issues and stuff like that. I made some last minute adjustments, as you can see, by chopping this bar off. Now that I had the seat on there, I just had to find something that looks right. Let me know below if you agree with me chopping it off as opposed to the picture that you saw on my phone. I feel like it looks so much better. I think what I'm going to do right now is just push it off the lift. I'm going to take it off. We'll do a walk around on the bike while it's on the ground so you can get a real gist of how it looks like. Because right now I'm calling it a night after this. It is too hot out. I will trim the plastics this weekend. We got a tropical storm coming, and I will paint the clocking flange and kind of get whatever else I have to in order. So you can see it here. It's finally on the ground. Look at how much the stretch looks because of the chop frame, the 3.5 inches I took off the frame. It puts that back wheel, it makes it look like that back wheel is so far out. Alright, so there you have it. The seat is on from Cheeky. Big shout out to Sue at Cheeky Seats. Absolutely nailed it. It came out spot on. So now I have to take those parts off that I mentioned, bring them the powder coat, get that handled. I'm going to cut the plastics in the meantime and then run the front brake line and go ahead and plumb the brakes. So now the front end's all set. The next video hopefully should be the first startup. I'm going to do the oil change, make sure it's fresh oil in there first. Make sure all the gaskets have sealed when I do the manifold and the clocking flange to the motor. Once that's all done, I'll prime it up, put some gas in it, and then see if I can do the first startup. I hope you guys are excited as I was. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I know you have too. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Put a comment below. If you made it this far through a video, let me know how you liked it. Let me know what you think about the new seat and then the little addition I made. I'll see you on the next one.